Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video we're diving into the Pirate Alliance Kizuna Clash against Shanks with the EXP MOMO teams to get as many gains from your assists as possible. Now, remember, this particular video is designed for your assists. This is an off-month Kizuna where there is no super boss, so getting as many assists under your belt and saving your potions is going to be the way. But I will put out teams with Otama friend captains, accessible teams, buildable teams, high damage teams, all of that stuff, one team versus all. But today we are focusing on EXP. Now, today's video revolves around Momo. Momo is so good for each of these variations that I have included him as the captain for pretty much all of them. He's actually so good that we managed to build a one team versus all for these EXP runs. But we're going to break down each variation, talk about what they do, talk about some characters and some possible replacements. But like I said, you want to be trying to get the skulls for 6+ Shanks without using potions. So doing your assists every 15 minutes with EXP teams, whatever teams you guys like to use, is going to be the wave. Now, if you guys don't have Momo, I am very, very sorry. But if this video gets up to 50 likes, I will look at making some Marco teams for you guys that are missing Momo. With that said, let's take a look at the first variation, which is against Strength. Now, Slashers, Shooters, and Powerhouse get all the good stuff. Plus, on turn 1, there is like 3 Strikers, which I will retreat after turn 1. So don't really worry about them too much. As long as you build a Slasher, Shooter, Powerhouse team, you're going to get all the good stuff. And Momo, he's a Slasher, which works great. On stage 2, there is 5 turns of attack down. There is a random barrier slot for either a tandem or a Wano orb, 2 turns at 1 tap. And then there's those Strikers. They run away. Don't worry about them. On the final stage, there's full immunity, a full board of block orbs. You get lock orb slots, damage reduction over a certain amount for 5 turns, which will go up to 6 after level 30, 9 turns of despair, so 6 after sockets. Plus, you can only do 50% of the maximum HP. After 1 turn, you can only use 1 special. And after level 31, there will be an extra turn of despair, so 7 turns after sockets. And then there'll be 2 turns of special reverse. So a lot of annoying shenanigans, but this particular team should easily be able to clear it after level 30. Now, double Momo means that we can get around the attack down on stage 2. Plus, you can have an attack boost that you sort of carry through. You're going to have Wano Orbs. You can tap the Wano Orb barrier. But to get through that stage 2 barrier, you will need like a Tandem Orb, or you will need a Barrier Pen. Now, if Carrot Wander's Barrier Pen isn't enough to get through this stage, you can easily replace Robin on the team with like the Treasure Map Luffy, the Powerhouse one. He's a free spirit Powerhouse character, and you can use the Beppo support. Or if you guys have done some more summons here and there, you can actually use Odin and Toki and use their super swap. Utilizing these guys' super swap is actually going to give you adjacent orbs into tandem, and then they give themselves a a Wano Orb, which means that you're going to get those T&D slots there. But look, hopefully Carrot and Wanda will be enough with that attack boost from Momo to actually just burst through that barrier regardless. But like I said, Robin's expendable here. She's just for more damage, and if you have Odin Toki, that's going to work great. But to get around the threshold, we are using the free-to-play Zoro. He works great. He removes 5 turns of it, plus he is a color affinity booster. Odin and Toki is just a better option. If you have that unit, you could definitely use them. But Zoro is going to fit the bill very nicely for Threshold. Plus, with Vivi, you get around 7 turns of it. Carrot Wonder, they have Barrier Pen, so they can help get through the barrier on turn 2, provided you can get through it. Like I said, we might need to look at some different options if that's the case. But they also give 2 turns of cooldown on the final stage. Plus, they are the Orb Booster for this particular team. Kawamatsu, he can remove Despair, but he only removes 5 turns of it. Plus, he gives you a chain boost, which is really nice. But he also triggers the super type of Momo, which will extend the attack boost, give you more Wano Orbs and all that fun stuff. Getting around block orbs on the final stage. And then Robin, she's just here because she's a conditional booster. She works great. But look, with this team, you have a chain boost, you have an attack boost, you have an orb boost, you have color affinity. You pretty much have everything going for you. For the one team versus all, it looks a little bit like this. As mentioned, you have Odin and Toki. They can use their super swap to give you a tandem and a Wano Orb. Get around the attack down with Momo once again. You have orbs with Luffy. You have threshold removal with Zoro because your captain has a Wano Orb. You can get around the extra... or not get around, you just get the extra damage with the chain shenanigans and all that sort of stuff. Luffy's going to be your orb booster for this team. He gives you 5 turns of it. He's basically great because he can get around Intimidation. Plus, he also removes Despair. Odin and Tokyo also remove Despair too, which works out really, really nicely. And then Chopper, he's sort of here for some other variations. But they're the 2 teams that I have put together for the strength variation. with Momo. The next one is a little bit interesting because it is a mixed type variation. It's 20% across the board for a whole bunch of different types. Fighter, Striker, and Free Spirit characters get all the good stuff. There's 5 turns of Burn on stage 2. There's 2 turns of Hunger, and on Death, there's 100,000 damage. On the final stage, as I mentioned, you have 20% of every single color, which is interesting, but it says Quick and then Quick. So I don't know if like Strength is meant to be in there somewhere, but it does seem like there's a few typos. There's Delay Immunity, Defense Immunity, and Poison Immunity. And Intimidation for -1 turn of slots, a slot boost. 5 turns of damage reduction, and Bind on your left column for 9 turns, so 6 after sockets. After level 31, the damage reduction goes to 6 turns, the Bind goes to 10 turns, and there is 5 turns of Threshold. A lot of nasty stuff popping up there, but Momo is so good here because he gets around a lot of it. On top of getting around attack down, Momo can also get around damage reduction, which is great. Can use his special, he gets around damage reduction, and it all works out pretty hunky-dory. To get around the burn with this particular team, we're just not worrying about it. Like, we're just saying, hey, it don't matter. We're just going to tap our way through, and we should be absolutely hunky-dory. So that should be no issues whatsoever. As for stage 2, the only other thing you have to get around is Hunger, but we are utilizing Sanji here. Utilizing Sanji is going to give us a full board of recovery orbs, and that way he can become our captain. And then we can switch out of him on the next turn just to get the chain boost. Utilizing Sanji here too gives Brook damage reduction, so we can tank the 100k. And then you just have to tap like 2 recovery orbs, and that's why that way you get through the Hunger, and it all works out super nice. Plus, because you have a chain boundary, hitting the Greats isn't that big of an issue. Plus, you will have an attack boost as well. So just make sure that you've saved up some space, so that way the recovery orbs are there. That way you can get through the Hunger. On the final stage, you're going to have Momo come back as captain with the chain boost of the super type of Sanji, and then that way you can also use the Momo special to have a Wano orb, so that way when you use Zoro, you get all the chain shenanigans of like the tap timing and the 1.5 and all that stuff. Robin's here as a conditional booster, and then Odin is your orb booster. So he's a 2-turn orb booster. You're going to have the 1-turn removal, and then it's all going to work out pretty fine. Vivi's more damage, Atama's more damage, Chopper's a color affinity booster. They aren't overly necessary because you can just replace Robin with another color affinity booster on this team. You could just chuck on like Gear 5, 6-star if you really want to, and he's going to be your color affinity booster. And that all works out pretty hunky-dory. You also have a Rush with Sanji if you want to activate that, and then you can do some shenanigans there. But this team, it should work nicely. However, I'm going to be using the 1-team versus all. This team actually works bits. Chopper's going to remove the burn on stage 2, plus then the damage reduction of Brook will trigger, just like we were using with Sanji. Luffy has hunger removal, this particular Luffy, so that way you don't have to worry about the hunger, so that works out pretty hunky-dory. Plus, he's your orb booster. You can actually pop him on turn 2 for this fight if you want to, but I would save him for the final stage because you aren't going to get that increase of the orb buff anyway. Zoro's going to give you the chain shenanigans because Momo's going to have that Wano orb. He's your attack booster. You get around damage reduction with Momo, threshold with Zoro. You have color affinity with Odin and Toki for slashes. So it's like, what, 2/3 of this team, and so that should work out nicely. Now, Luffy's not boosted on every variation, so we have the Mr. 3 support. But for this particular stage, you're pretty much covered for everything. Momo works great because he just turns that bind into extra attack boosting, and this team should work well past level 30. Finally, we have the int variation where strength, dex, and side characters get all the good stuff. On stage 2, there's an 80% HP cut, 2 turns of recovery bind, and 5 turns of resilience. So you see why Momo works really, really well here. On the final stage, there's full immunity and intimidation for an attack-based and slot boosting effects by 1 turn. You get 1 turn of special reverse, and if you're below 90% HP, the enemy will limit you to 2 taps. Now, I believe this is on entry, so like, they're ideally going to give you the 80% HP cut, and then if you go in with that 80% HP cut, you're going to get this. If you cut your own HP, I don't think that will trigger, but look, we'll have to wait and see when the content comes out. If you use any conditional boost, you're going to lose all your beneficial effects, and after level 31, you get an extra turn of special reverse, so 2 turns. The despair goes, you get 8 turns of despair, and then there's 5 turns of damage reduction as well. Again, Momo works great, because he can remove damage reduction, but on stage 2, he can actually remove the resilience. So getting around resilience on stage 2 makes Momo so good, but we are using Chopper as well to actually heal us back up, so that way we don't have to worry about the interrupt when we enter the final stage. Ace Sabo are so good because they can be our color affinity booster, they can be our Orb Booster. They can also remove the Despair. It works out pretty hunky-dory. But we do get 2 turns of Special Reverse, so we do need to get around that. So utilizing the Treasure Map Zoro with Nami gives you a Chain Boost. So then Nami can give 1 extra turn of cooldown to Zoro. Zoro's going to reduce the cooldowns of your bottom row, so that's the 2 turns for Zoro. Then Zoro becomes a Chain Boundary unit that you can then give specials charge to your right-hand side, and that way you just need those specials there. So that all works out pretty nicely. Momo's going to remove the damage reduction, and this team should actually work very, very nice. If you want to use a Momo special on turn 2, you can. This team, unfortunately, doesn't have a way to trigger Momo's super type, but you will be able to get the amount of attack increase just by like using the 1 orbs that your captains has. Like I said, you can use the friend captains to get a 1 orb back, and that's going to work out pretty hunky-dory that way. Nami's a chain booster. You can use the Brook support for more damage, and that all works out pretty nice. As for the one team versus all, again, Chopper on stage 2, he works great. Momo's getting around the resilience with his end of turn damage. You have an orb boost with Luffy. You have color affinity with Odin and Toki, and then you have all the chain shenanigans of Zoro. Plus, there's the damage reduction of Momo there as well, and Despair removal with Luffy. I don't think you need the Kanjuro support. I kind of just left it there when I was doing some team building, but that's going to wrap up the video with the Momo teams. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there, belt like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. Like I said, if you guys need Marco teams, let me know in the comment section below, and make sure to belt a like on this video, get it to 50, and I will hopefully get enough time to get around to that. But if you enjoyed the video, like I said, belt like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.